Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and today we're going to be turning these digital photo prints into a cute little, hopefully, easel card. Switch my screen over. And this is the card as it is designed in Design Space. So I'm going to cut this out, this card, and start putting it together and hope it turns out as cute as I think it's going to turn out. So I'm going to pause you while I do this, and then we'll come back and hopefully put together a really cute little card. Alright, I have back. I have cut everything out with my Maker 3. And my intention was to make this an easel card, but I forgot to put my secondary fold line in here, so I think this one will just be a regular card. This layer, you can see the extra, what's supposed to be snow in the corners of the window. And I don't think you can see it necessarily, but I added some Wink of Stella just to the snow to make it glisten a little bit, but it's really not showing up on the camera. Then I ran the top layer through the embossing folder, and just to kind of give it a wood grain look. I'm not sure how much I like it, but you can kind of see it. I wish the wood grain kind of went that way instead, but I don't know. I might take some ink and just kind of go over the top of that a little bit, but we'll see. So I went ahead and cut out my shapes. And this is the one I decided to use. So we're going to glue this to the back of this, and then we'll glue this on top, and then we'll attach it all to our card. So, kind of get that lined up where I want it. I could have made these a little bit bigger. There we go. So get out the glue. And I don't know if I need to make it straight necessarily. So I'm just going to tack some glue here in the center of the window panes and a little bead down the sides. Because this is, oh, see, I went too far. I didn't need to do it down there. This is photo paper, so the glue doesn't dry quite as quickly on it. Spin that around a little bit. Do the same thing on this side. A little bit of glue. This time I won't go quite up so high. There we go. Oh, still kind of went past my edges there. So maybe what we'll do now is just go ahead and attach this to the front, just because I've kind of managed to get glue everywhere. This should just line up on there. Yeah, okay. So I'll just go add a little bit more glue down here. That stuff feels like it's dried already. Spread that glue out a little bit. Just looking to see if one side looked better than the other. I think I will grab some. Oh, that tore. Well, it won't matter. I guess I won't then, because I don't want to tear that anymore. So we'll just lay this down here. Might not have torn if I had remembered to mist it with a little bit of water, but it's fairly thin, so it might have torn anyway. Looks like we went a little bit. Oh, that's all right. Get a little bit of glue up here. Trying to let that kind of fall naturally into place, but once you emboss it, it tends to stretch out the paper a little bit, so. I'm transferring glue and ink, even though I haven't used any ink. Anyway, there we have it. As our cute little window Christmas card. And I just picked a couple of scenic backgrounds that I had. I actually would like them to look a little further away, but just for this, I think that's okay. And plenty of room to write your message on the inside. And I think those are cute. And then they'll stand up. Now, if I had done it the way I intended, it would be a easel card. So I will go in and fix that and cut another one out and come back and put it together. But isn't that cute? And you can either put, you know, a little message across the bottom here, or, you know, just put your message on the inside, or maybe even like dangle something. Looks like, you know, get a little bit of string so it looks like you're hanging a sign here in the window. I kind of like that idea. I might do that. So we'll see. I'll go play a little bit more and I'll come back. All right, I was trying to find what a piece of paper, cardstock for the outer window casing. Couldn't exactly find one that I liked, but I thought I'd use this one. And then I thought, what if I printed a wood grain pattern over the front of it, which is barely visible, but I think it'll add enough texture that it'll look nice. So that's our next step. All right, I did have a little tearing up here, and I was hoping I could fix it, but I don't think I'll be able to. I'll have to recut that piece just because it really tore up that corner there. But two of them came out very nicely. You can just see there's a little bit of color separation or definition or whatever you want to call it, just so it's not such a flat look. Let's see, does that make it show up any better? So I will have to recut this one out. And then I'll start putting these together. I'm just going to throw that one. I don't think I can save that. It's pretty mangled. But I did want to show you, while I have everything out, that on the easel cards, I did remember to go back and put in my score line. And I put it in 3 different spots because I'm not sure which one I'll like best. So I'm curious to see how that turns out too. I also cut these out because the snow will be showing. So I cut these out on a frosted or pearlized white cardstock, rather than using the Wink of Stella. So this is what we've got. Let's see here. Kind of just line this up. That's rough, but you get the idea. So I'm going to go and finish putting this stuff together, see what if I can salvage this, and if not, I will just recut that one out, and I will be back. Alright, we're back. I've glued everything together, and this was the first one. I've got some shadows here. What am I doing? Let's try that. Sun's gone down outside, so these 3 I did them as easel cards, and the thing I've realized, I'm sure some people can look at that and go, oh, the fold needs to be down here, but for some reason it wasn't registering with me today, so I tried it in all 3 spots, and honestly, the lower the fold, the straighter up this will stand, which is what, is that this one? Yeah, so that stands up almost straight. If that's what you're looking for, and maybe you're not, but that will stand up almost straight depending on where you put your sentiment or whatever little piece you're going to put, just to kind of help prop that up. A few little strings off. Okay, there we go. So anyway, these are done, and I really like the way they turned out. I think I'm going to make some more. I've still got one background left from what I printed before. And I know I've got some different backgrounds. I kind of want something that looks a little bit further away than this. So I'm going to play with it and see what I've got. But I think they're super cute. And even the one that I forgot to put the fold on, which I could still go back and do. Well, no, I can't because I glued it all down. But even that one I think is super cute. And it will stand up. So, yeah. And these would be cute, not just for Christmas. I mean, you could just leave out this snowy pane in the middle and use them for any kind of birthday or Mother's Day or anything that you want to, look at a nice scenic thing out the window. So I've got some other window shapes I'm playing with. They'll probably be included in the file when I share it to my Facebook group. I'm going to see if I can share that on my coffee page. I haven't done that yet, so I don't know if it'll let me. But I'm going to look. If it'll let me, I'll try and share it there too. Because I know some people hate having to go to different places to find different things. So let me just see if I can zoom that in a little bit. Well, I don't know what I'm doing here. But anyway, I hope you like them. I think they're really cute. And I do have something else I was working on, and then I got busy and forgot about it. So it will probably, I was going to say it will probably be an easel card as well, but the truth is it doesn't have to be, just like this one. It doesn't have to be, so I might do some of each. I, for some reason, have a real fascination with the easel cards. I love that they stand up, because if someone were to set this down on a table across the room or fireplace mantle or wherever, instead of hanging it on the wall, you could still see it if they set it down to where they could, they could still see it. So that, I think that's my fascination, but I love them. They're kind of interactive. I love that also. So I'm going to make a few more of these. Now, I just finished watching football. Now I got to go eat dinner. So I'll have to probably finish filming this tomorrow. But when you see this, I hope you, please tell me what you think. I really like this. And I think it's one of the cutest ones I've done so far, and I'm anxious to see what other backgrounds I can find that'll look nice through the window frame. So, all right, I did want to show you one other thing here that I wanted to show you before I left you for the moment, is that if you use a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, you can get 3 of these card bases on it. You just have to kind of offset them a little bit like I've done with this middle one, and that allows you to kind of pull everything together a little bit tighter and get 3 card bases to one 12 by 12 sheet. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's very little waste, a little bit on the bottom here and here, and then a little bit on the top right here, but that doesn't even have to be waste. You could use that for a sentiment. They're large enough for a small sentiment, or even if you just wanted to use them behind a sentiment to help lift it up a little bit, they're big enough for that. So I just wanted to show you that real quick, because if you let Design Space do this for you, assign how it's going to be on the paper, it's going to assign just 2 to that one page. Whereas if you go in and lay it out and attach everything, then it's attached to that one 12 by 12 sheet, and you can get 3 on there. But if you let Design Space do it for you, it won't work. And let me see if we can go back and just, maybe I can show you real quick what I'm talking about. So I'll just cancel out of there. So these 3 right here, when I click anywhere in there, you can see that they're attached down here because it says detach. So I'm going to detach it real quick. And I'm going to off click. I don't probably need to do that, but now you can see that they're all separate. So now let's go back in to make it. And I just want to look at the white one here. See how it just did 2 on that page and 1 on this page. And this will not even fit on an 8.5 by 11. Well, actually it would, but you can also get 3 to a 12 by 12. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind if you're trying to save paper, get the most out of your paper. I oftentimes use my scraps for my die cuts because it's easier to line everything up with the die cut than it is for me anyway on my mat. But this is just, it just takes practice. I've seen people do it and they do it just fine. It's just, for me, it's just easier. So I prefer to use a whole sheet of paper when I'm cutting with my Cricut, or a big scrap, for cutting something that's smaller. But the way I did this was I actually start with a shape, and I just take a square, because cardstock is square or rectangular, and I'll make it 11.5. And I just do that up here in the size, and then we're going to just move that to the back so you can see it. And you see how everything fits within that 11.5. Now the reason you don't do 12 by 12 is because there's a 1/4 of an inch. Consider it like a seam allowance or a negative space that you can't use, because Cricut doesn't go into that first 1/4 of an inch around every single edge, whether it's 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11 or whatever it is. So by making it 11.5 by 11.5, I've already accounted for that 1/4 inch. But anyways, you can see now it all fits on the 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I just do that just so I can see if it will fit, and then we don't need it anymore, so I'm going to delete it. And then you just go in and attach everything. So I've selected those 3, I attach, and when you go back in to make it, it will show you, once you get to the right page, how all 3 of those sit nicely on that 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So that's just your little tip for the day to keep in mind. I will also tell you that I do rotate these. This was where I ran into a problem because I rotated the wrong one when I had to cut my extra pieces. This goes out to 8, and on an 8.5 by 11, that will be fine. But this goes down just past 11. So if you click on that and then you rotate it where you think it's kind of straight, and then you can move that up a little bit, and you see how that now fits in nicely. It's under 10 inches. So it's 8 by 10 inches. So that'll fit nicely onto your 8.5 by 11. And you can do the same with this piece here. Now on these, because this did go out to, it doesn't go all the way out to 8.5, but it's pretty close. So on this piece, I actually flipped this one. I don't know if you can hear that beeping. My washer's done, so. And then I just slid it over. And that way I know that it fits. So you don't have to get it super close, but I do want to make sure it's under 8.25. And then I'll flip this one too. And if you hold your shift key down while you're turning it, it will do it in, I don't know if it's 15 or 10, but I messed it up somewhere along the way. There we go. And move that up, and there you go. You easily fit in your 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So that's just one little tip I wanted to throw in there for you in case you're not familiar with it. Hopefully that will help somebody. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know. You probably noticed I taped my cardstock down. I did re-glue my mat with my Zig Marker. Let me see here. Where is it? I use the largest Zig Marker. It's a two-way glue. If you apply it and let it dry, then it's removable or repositionable. If you apply it and then attach it to something immediately while it's still wet, it's permanent. So I glued my mat with this, and then I let it dry, and now it's repositionable. And so that's one way to get a little bit more mileage out of your mats. I also use the tape just because I like to be doubly sure it's not going to slide, because you saw where it tore my corners here. It probably isn't stuck down well enough, so it tore. Plus it's a thinner cardstock. But anyway, that's just a little tip. That's your little Cricut tip for the day. All right, we are back. I went ahead and cut out some more cards, so I have a total of 10. And I've gone through my sentiment book and picked out some sentiments that I had already printed just to kind of speed up my process a little bit. And I did add a little bit extra something to a couple of them. I took and foiled, just did a little rough antiquing foil style around a couple of them. And to do that, I just use a glue stick and a piece of toner foil. Cricut foil works too. I don't know what kind of foil it is, but it does work. And basically you just take your glue stick and kind of drag it along the edge so it looks random, and then put your foil down over it. You can also use a Zig marker. I would let it dry first and then apply your foil, but it's been a while since I did it. So here's the second one. And this was the original card that I didn't put. Oh, no, that one does have a score in it. This must be the original card, which is why it's got the sentiment on the front. I've gone through and put my information on the back of all of them already. And now I was just going to finish kind of doctoring them up a little bit and adding some greenery, which I also pulled from my stash. And if I need to, I can cut some more. I probably have a little bit more in my stash I could use, but this is what I've got so far. So I'm just going to start applying some of this, and I will fast forward through this part so you don't have to listen to me ramble. Alright, so I went and grabbed some of my sticky back gems, colored gems, and I added those to the cards. And I think they're all done now. I mean, I could go on and on and on. decorating, but I do want to be able to finish them up. So this one I ended up not adding anything to. This one's got a few down there. This one's got some that I tried to make them look like holly berries, but I'm not sure I did a very good job of that. This one I used blue just because the tag is blue and the front image is blue. Here I used some more red ones just to kind of simulate holly berries. And the same thing here. And again here. And here. It's like a recurring theme, isn't it? And lastly, some little ones on the tag there. So I think I've left enough room for people to write their messages. Might have got a little carried away with decorating. I definitely could have got a lot more carried away. The other thing I wanted to tell you or show you, since these were all but one were easel cards, when I cut out the, that's actually pearl paper. Keep those separate. I had a lot of scraps when I cut out the card bases. Here's some that's still in the trash. But I ended up taking and using this to layer behind my sentiment so it would stand up a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a lip. Now, not this one. Well, yeah, I did put it behind this one. All of them, actually, now that I think about it. And it just gives them a little bit of a lip. I don't know if you can see that, but it just helps this to stand up better. If it were flat, it would tend to fall closed or slide closed. So I saved all of these scraps except for this one. Somehow I missed it. And I'll continue to save them because they are good for stuff like that. And you never know when you're going to need to bump up a sentiment. I do keep the pearl ones separate, and I've caught a few of them in here. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that as well. So week 41, cards are done. One of the things I did realize after I had pulled all of these outdoor scenes was you could just as easily, and I wouldn't put maybe such a fancy window on the outside, I'd probably do more just a standard rectangle, but you could also make this looking inside, like Santa filling up under the Christmas tree or the stockings. If you've got images like that, I probably do somewhere, just haven't found them yet. So that would be cool too. It would, you know, if you don't think it's too voyeuristic, but it's Santa Claus. I mean, come on. So that's another option. But here we have 10 more cards to add to our total of 292. So that's going to bring it up to 302. Woohoo! We're getting there. So got a couple others that I'm working on. You will be able to access this Cricut file. Follow the link below to my group page, Expressions Craft Studio Facebook group, and there will be a link for this Design Space file. Everything else I've mostly pulled from my stash except for the little bit of greenery that I cut this time because I was low on Christmas greenery. Everything else came from my stash. I will also... I'm trying to think. I'm thinking out loud here. These images in the background came from larger images, and then I just sized them to fit in here. And then I did fussy cut them out, even though I don't like to do that. They're so big, and they're layered behind other stuff, so it wasn't going to matter. I will try to remember to put those two files out there. I'll put them in the Facebook group as well, just so that they'll be there with the Design Space file. I think that's probably what will work best. So you can access those if you join the group. If you're not a member of the group, you know, follow the link over. You can join. There's no cost to join. That's where I share my freebies, that, and some of them on Ko-fi, I don't know, everybody says it different. And you'll be able to pick them up there. But these cards are week 41, Cards for Soldiers. Let me pull them back out here. And they are Cards for Soldiers and the Angel Card Project. So these are all cards for donation to two, I think, really wonderful charitable organizations who, help out those who are far from home or struggling during the holidays. So if you haven't already, please check them out. I believe if you're interested in doing this, they also take cash donations, I believe. Don't quote me on that. If that's something you're interested in doing, I know Cards for Soldiers has some high postage needs, especially now that the rates have gone up again. So I'm sure they would be appreciative of donations. Angel Card Project, most of the people mail out the cards themselves, so I don't really know how that would work, but Mark Scudder is in charge of that group, and he'd be happy to answer your questions, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm excited. I think these turned out really cute, and I definitely want to make some more, but probably not for this year's project. But then again, you never know, because they are cute. But save your scraps, folks, because they come in handy. So I saved all of the centers of the windows. I've got them in different color stacks, but because I might be able to do something with them. I might even just throw them in an embossing folder and make a tile type background for a card front. I've also saved the ones from my pearl cardstock. Initially, I threw them away, but then I decided I should save those because I can, if nothing else, I can die cut butterflies out of these, or even punch butterflies or little flowers out of these, which would be nice accent to, floral cards, Mother's Day cards, that kind of stuff. So, some of your scraps are worth hanging on to. Some are not. The only reason I've kept these is because they had the names on them. But if you flip them over, you can use those in like a strippy, scrappy card. So, I wouldn't save everything, but if you can think of a good solid use for it, like propping up your sentiments in easel cards, which I do love easel cards. Who doesn't love a good easel card? I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I love them. So yeah, there's things that we're saving. These are even good for sentiments. If you've got stamps that you can print sentiments on, or stamps with sentiments that you could stamp on here, they're good for that too. So, save your scraps if they're going to be of any use to you. Now these pieces here, these were cut off of the scraps that I used to raise up my sentiments. These I will throw away. I'm not going to hang on to those because they'd only have one purpose, and that would be to raise something up, and then only if it was the right shape, whereas these will work a lot more nicely. And I'll get rid of this center part here. So anyway, I ramble. I tried to spare you from the rambling, but it isn't going to happen, folks. I'm a rambler. I'm sorry. So again, thanks for joining me. I hope you like this week's cards. If you do and you want the file, head over to my Facebook group, and sometimes it takes me a while to respond to those because I get a lot of different notifications from a lot of different groups, but I will let you in as soon as I see it. And thanks for joining me, guys. I am having so much fun with this project. There have been weeks it's been stressful trying to come up with an idea, I'm not going to lie, but once I've got an idea, I just have so much fun running with the different possibilities, and I love it. I'm probably going to do it again next year. I might not. My goal might be a little different than 1 card per day. It might be 10 cards per week or something like that. So since that's kind of mostly what I've done this week or this year anyway, it hasn't really been 1 per day. Because there's a lot of thought that has to go in, for me anyway, into designing a card, figuring out what I want to make, getting all my consumables together and all that. So anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate all of your kind comments and the time that goes into watching videos. I know there's a lot of people who produce videos that are a lot better at it than I am, but I do thank those of you who stick with me, particularly my friends Glenna and Bonnie and Cindy and everybody else who watches. I love you guys. You don't know how much I love you. I love you to pieces. And you know, check out some of my favorite links. I post those from time to time on my videos, and you'll see some of my favorite crafters in there. So anyway, I could go on for hours, but I won't. I'll spare you any more pain. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Until next time, happy crafting.